Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock and it's time for a magic stuff. Now this is another one of the 3 trick series. And in this series, if you've never seen it before, I highlight 3 tricks of a particular genre that I think are pretty awesome. Now sometimes I do these videos where I talk about tricks that you might not have seen before. And there's an element of this in here, but also I just want to highlight 3 tricks to you that are absolutely brilliant. And this week I'm going to be talking about self-working card tricks. That's right. I'm going to be talking about tricks that completely work themselves and require no skill at all. Now I've done a couple of videos like this in the past on the channel, and typically I tend to find that the reaction and the response is really good, but there are that sort of vocal minority out there that are very adamant about how self-working magic isn't good and you should never do self-working magic and it doesn't work in the real world. And frankly, I completely disagree with that. Now, obviously, you're entitled to your own opinion, but there's some self-working tricks that are just simply brilliant. I'm talking about things like Overkill by Paul Harris, Shuffleboard by Simon Aronson. The list goes on and on and on. Shuffling Lesson by Chad Long. I've examined a lot of these tricks over the course of the last couple of years and talked about why they're so good. Well, I've had a lot of people ask me for another video like this, so I'm going to talk about 3 more self-working card tricks that I think are pretty awesome. All 3 of the tricks that you see here are tricks that I've actually used in the real world, and I've actually performed. Now, I don't know the history behind all of the tricks, so perhaps you guys can help me as you watch the 3 tricks. You're going to see a performance, and I'm going to talk about why it's so good. So, without further ado, let's get straight into it. 3 tricks that I think are pretty awesome. Oh, and by the way, they're completely self-working. So the first trick that we're going to be looking at is I believe it's a Martin Gardner trick. Now, I'm not too sure. A friend of mine showed me this trick a little while ago, and I asked him what the source was, and he said he thinks it's a Martin Gardner plot. I've never seen anything like this before. It bears a little bit of a resemblance to Will the Jacks match or Will the Cards match, but it is very, very different to that. And it's really strong. It really is. And it's a great lead-in to a routine with coins and cards, because you use coins and you use cards. Now, when my friend first showed me this, he showed me using a presentation of a kind of a bet type thing. So he had the 2 piles of cards. You're going to see a performance in a minute. He had the 2 piles of cards, and they were betting. They had to. The presentation was they had to engineer the 2 packs of cards so they didn't match, and they always matched. So it was kind of a sucker type trick, which is fine. But I actually prefer performing this and using this as kind of a oh my gosh, perfect mates. They're always together for life. There's synergy between them. Let me show you what I mean. And I think that's the best way to play it, at least for me. Now, before I talk any further about this, let me actually show you a presentation of this trick. So this is the routine. As I say, I think it's Martin Gardner, but if anyone can help me with the source of this trick, that would be brilliant. Let's have a look. Jack, we got 4 coins.
We do.
And we've also got a pack of cards.
Oh, now, Snakes and Ladders deck?
Yeah, it's the Snakes and Ladders deck. I love this deck. But we're not going to use every card in the deck. We're just going to use... do you want hearts or diamonds?
Oh, hearts.
Okay, so we're going to take out the Ace of Hearts, the 2 of Hearts, the 3 of Hearts, the 4 of Hearts, and finally the 5 of Hearts. And do you want spades or clubs?
Spades.
Okay, so we'll take out the, where are they? The 3 of Spades, the 4 of Spades, the 5 of Spades, the Ace of Spades, and the 2 of Spades. There we go. We won't even use the rest of the deck. Now, what's interesting is that these 2 packets of cards have a symbiotic relationship with each other, which sounds ridiculous. And I know you don't believe me, but it's true. They actually have a symbiotic relationship. And I'm going to prove it to you, okay? We're going to give the cards a mix-up. And no matter how hard you try, the packets are going to match up. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. And to make it interesting, we're going to use these 4 coins. These are silver dollars, right?
Yeah.
Now, we're going to shift a certain amount of cards from the top of each packet to the bottom. And you get to decide how many by moving the coins around.
Okay.
So in other words, if you put all 4 coins in here, we put 4 cards from the top to the bottom.
Okay.
If you put all 4 over there, we'd put 4 cards from the top to the bottom. If you put 1 there and 3 there, 1 would go to the bottom there, 3 would go to the bottom there. That would be 3 over there, 1 over there. That would be 2 and 2. You get the idea. You make all the decisions. When you've made all the decisions, we're going to turn over the top 2 cards.
Okay.
So what would you like? You just move the coins as you see fit.
Okay. This is exciting.
You want 3 there and 1 there. Are you sure?
I'm sure.
So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go 1 there. Now, if you'd have changed your mind and done it in a different way, we would have ended up with a completely different outcome. And the cards were shuffled to begin with anyway. The interesting thing is, because these cards have a symbiotic relationship, the 2 cards will match.
Oh, come on
top. And that's the thing, right? They always find each other. Just like in life, you know, when you go through life, you might drift away from people, but if you're meant to be with them, you'll always end up together. It's the same sort of thing. Let's get rid of a coin and we'll do it again. So this time, you've got 3 coins to play with. You can distribute them however you want to. And there's no ambiguity, there's no wordplay. Whatever you do, we'll put that many cards to the bottom and then we'll turn over the top cards.
Okay. Let's do 1 there, 2 there.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Do you want to change your mind?
I'll stick with that.
So we're going to put 1 at the bottom here. We're going to put 1, 2 at the bottom here. It would have been a different outcome if you changed things round. Don't you think that's weird? There's the 2 aces.
How are you doing this?
Let's do it again. We've still got 2 coins. Do it again. Do you want both there? Do you want both there? Do you want 1 on each pile? How do you want to play this?
Okay.
Your choice.
Let's do 1 on each.
Are you sure?
Yep.
So you're going to put 1 to the bottom there. You're going to put 1 to the bottom there, right?
Okay.
I mean, at this point, it's becoming spooky, I think. 1 last choice.
This is which coin?
2 here, 2 here. We've got 1 last coin. You can either put it there or there. It's your choice.
Put it there.
Are you sure? Because if you put it there, it'd be a completely different outcome.
No, I'm sticking it there.
You sure you don't want to change your mind at the last second?
I'm very sure.
So in other words, you want this one at the bottom.
Yep.
Are you sure?
Positive.
You're going to kick yourself because look at that. There's the 2 2s. And that leaves us here with the 2 5s. And just like in life, the perfect mates always find each other.
Is this why I'm stuck with you?
Yeah, it is.
Right.
Now, regardless of which presentation you use, I'm sure you'll agree that that is an absolutely incredible card trick. And it's just mind-blowing. You know, there's a lot of tricks out there that use full packs of cards or smaller packets of cards. It's really nice to have a routine like this where there's a lot happening and you don't have to do anything. It means that you can be super fair. Like I said, it reminds me a little bit of Will Cards Match. But the impossibility level, the first time I saw it, I was like, I'm not really too sure how this is working. This just doesn't make any sense to me. And the fact is, it is completely self-working. Now, the nice thing about this routine is there's no table required. There's no setup required. You just take a deck of cards and you take the ace 2 5 out of 2 suits. You put them down on the table and you're set up and you are good to go. So there's no setup required. You can do it on the fly. You can do it anytime you want to. You can repeat the trick and it's a different outcome every time because obviously they have a completely free choice when it's putting the coins down. And I do love the use of the coins to limit their choices. It feels like you're not limiting their choices, but you are limiting their choices. And that's a really fun way of actually doing this. It's also really engaging. If you're performing to a group of people, if you've got like 5 or 6 people, you can give each person the opportunity to decide. So you can say to the first phase, you can say to the first person, right, how do you want to distribute these coins? Then you can say it to the second person, then the third person. So it's one of these tricks that really engages people. And it's a nice lead-in to a do-as-I-do routine as well. If you do a do-as-I-do routine, and if you don't, you should do, because it's one of the strongest sort of genres of magic that there is, then this is a perfect lead into that. It's also a perfect lead into anything that requires the use of perfect mates. On the net tricks a little while ago, I put a trick out called perfect mates, which this would be a great lead into. Absolutely 100%. There's many other tricks that use perfect mates that this would be a great lead into as well. But yeah, I mean, it's just a solid, very easy, self-working trick that becomes more and more impossible as the trick goes on. So there you go. That's a self-working card trick that you've never seen before. I think it's Martin Gardner, but perhaps you guys can help me with the source of that. Now we're going to go from a trick that's kind of very unknown to one of the most well-known card tricks in Magic, but for good reason. It's absolutely brilliant. So next up, we're going to be talking about Gemini twins. Now, Gemini twins is just a classic of magic, and there's been so many different versions of this. I think one of the more well-known versions of this is Stolen Cards by Leonard Green, but there's many really intelligent creators that have used the Gemini twins concept in their magic. So for example, Nicholas Mavresis, in his recent My Jink trick that came out through Alakazam, he had an extended, elaborated version of the Gemini twins plot. Lots of different people have used this over the years. I think, and I might be wrong, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but originally the original plot for Gemini twins was by Carl Fulves, but I might be wrong. If you haven't seen it, this is how I do it. I use it with, well, I'm not going to tell you, you'll see. So have a look at the performance, and then when I've done the performance, we'll talk about why this is so good.
Hello.
Hey, buddy. I've got a deck of cards, but I've also got some business cards. I've actually got 3 business cards altogether, and on those business cards, there's actually 3 predictions. 1, 2, 3. Okay?
Okay.
And we're going to try and do something amazing with a deck of cards. Would you like to see something amazing?
Sure.
Okay. First of all, I want you to see that the cards really are being shuffled. That's not some sort of sneaky magic shuffle. They really are being shuffled.
I believe you.
Do you want to give them another shuffle, or you're okay?
Give me another.
Thanks, Jack. Okay, I'm going to give them one more shuffle.
Okay, I'm going to wait here for. I know your antics.
There you go. How's that? Is that fair?
That's fair, yeah.
Perfect stuff. So, we're going to put this business card back in this pack somewhere, and you get to decide where. I'm going to deal cards onto the table. Anytime you want to say stop.
Stop.
There. Do you want to go one more? Is that it?
Oh, that's it.
Because this is all about you making the choices. I'm going to put it right there. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Now we can do the same thing again with this business card. So as I deal through, anytime you want to, just say stop.
Stop.
There.
Yep.
Right there?
Right there.
So put that there, just like that. Now the other business card, we're going to get back to in a second, but on each one of these business cards, there were predictions.
Yep.
And we shuffled the deck twice because you made me shuffle it again. And then you decided where to put those cards back. You put this business card right back here next to this card, and you put this business card right back there next to that card, correct?
I think so.
Here's what's really interesting. Watch. This card, I said I wrote a prediction on it, and it says Queen of Diamonds.
Yeah.
This card, I wrote Ten of Hearts. The interesting thing is you could have put those cards anywhere into the deck that you wanted to.
Oh, don't do this.
You put the Queen of Diamonds right next to the Queen of Diamonds. You put the Ten of Hearts right next to the Ten of Hearts.
What the fuck?
Which is crazy, right? But I said there was one other prediction. Turn over that card and have a look at what's in there, on there.
It's blank.
It's blank, right? There's nothing on it. And that's the final prediction. The final prediction is that you'd pick these 2 cards and you wouldn't pick any of the other cards in the deck. Because you see, every other card in the pack is completely blank. The only cards printed are the 2 that you ended up on. And my friend, you can examine everything. So there you go. That's how I perform Gemini twins. I always use a blank deck of cards. And in actual fact, excuse me, I always use a blank deck of cards, and I always use those 3 predictions. And those 3 predictions, for me, really make this trick. I love that I've got 3 business cards, and on the first business card, you've got your first prediction, second business card, you've got the second prediction, third business card is blank, and that's the kicker ending. And trust me, when you show at the very end that the deck is blank and there's nothing on those cards, people just lose their mind. And it's really nice that you can just give the cards out to be examined at that point. There's nothing to find. A lot of the time when you turn a deck blank, you got to, maybe switch the deck in. Sometimes you got to use a trick deck with rough and smooth or long and short or something like that. But with this, you're turning the deck blank through complete bluff, because they just assume that the deck is normal because, there's all that procedure that leads up to the deck turning blank. Whilst in reality, they had no choice over it. So the deck's been blank from the very beginning, but they don't realise that. And, it's such a strong routine. It really, really is. And again, It's very easy to do. Now, the problem with a lot of self-working magic tricks is there's a big, elaborate setup. And a lot of the time, there's a lot of procedure. And you have to cover that procedure with making the routine as entertaining as possible. But with this, there's very little procedure. It's very direct if you actually think about it. It's picking up a deck of cards. I'm going to deal, say stop, boom. I'm going to deal, say stop, done. It's about as direct as you can get, and yet even with those parameters in place, you can immediately show that your predictions matched the cards that they ended up on, which, let's be honest, that was the original version of the Gemini twins concept. There was no kicker finish at the end. This was it. And that's a strong enough trick in its own right. But then you've got that extra moment at the very, very end where, boom, the entire deck turns blank. Really solid commercial trick. And again, you can do this walk around. You can have somebody hold their hand out for be a table. You can have somebody hold their hand at you. So many different ways you can do this. And again, very easy to do. No real skill required. Well, no skill required at all. And I think that the best way to use this is to switch this deck in at the end of the trick. So you have the deck in the box. You do whatever routines that you want to do. You maybe finish off with a packet trick. So maybe you've produced the 4 aces. You put the rest of the deck away, and as you go to get a pen to do something, you switch the box and you put the box to one side. You maybe do something with the aces, like maybe a matrix or something. I don't know. And then you say, well, let's do one last thing with the deck. And you just put the aces back in your pocket and you don't even mention them. And you open the deck and you go into this as a finale and the entire deck turns blank. That's a great way to do it. I mean, it's the easiest way to do it. And they've been, apparently shuffling and using the deck throughout. Now, this can be done as a standalone trick. Don't get me wrong. This can be done as a standalone trick. But it works really well as a finale to a set as well. And it just shows how strong a self-working trick is, that you can use it as a finale to a card set and it still gets a great reaction. So there you go. That is your second awesome self-working magic trick. So the final routine I want to share with you is by Martin Brasas. And he has released a trick very recently. This has been the newest addition to my repertoire. He has released a trick very recently called Easy Aces through P3 Penguin Magic. And it's going on the review show soon. And the trick itself is good. It's good. It's nice. It's a good trick. There's nothing wrong with it at all. However, they slip a little sneaky bonus trick in at the end, which for me is absolutely brilliant. And I think it's gone under everyone's radar because everyone looks at it and goes, oh, that's that old trick. That's really, really simple. Well, it is really simple. It is really simple, but I love how it's expanded on the original and made it so much stronger. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to do a performance of it first of all. You'll recognize the basics behind this because this is a very well-known self-working trick. But what he's added to it, the extra layers of deception, and there's a lot more happening with this than you think. It's self-working, there's no skill required, but there's a lot more happening with this than you think. And the stuff that he's added to this, I think really elevates it to the next level. Let's have a look and you'll see what I mean. And I'm here with Jack. How you doing, Jack?
I'm good.
I've got Ryland over there. Say hi, Ry.
Hi.
And I've got Michael behind the camera.
Hi.
Now, I'm meant to do this with 4 people, but you're going to be taking the role of 2 people here, okay?
That's scary.
I know. Now, I'm going to get each one of you to name a single-digit number.
Okay.
And each number has to be different. And each number has to be different. And obviously, it's single-digit, not 0. Okay? So, first of all, you name a number, Jack.
7.
7.
5.
5.
9.
9. Michael says 9. And then you need one other number.
1.
1. 7, 5, 9, 1. We're not going to change the order of those. We're going to work backwards. So we'll start with 1 and we'll go backwards, ending up with 7, okay?
Okay.
And before we do anything, we're going to take these shuffled cards. And what I want you to do is I want you to cut them into 4 approximately equal piles. Can you do that for me? So cut about a quarter of the cards and put them there.
Okay.
About there, that's great. Now cut some more and put them there.
Okay.
That's great. And then finally cut some more and put them there.
Gotcha.
You happy with that?
Okay, cool.
Excellent. So we're going to start with that pile, then move on to that pile, then move on to that pile, then move on to that pile. And I'm not going to change the order of the numbers that you said. We're going to work backwards. So what was the last number you said?
1.
1. So whatever numbers you say, and you're going to be doing this for everybody, whatever the numbers are, you're going to take the pile, you're going to put that many cards to the bottom and then deal 1 card on top of each pile.
Okay.
So we'll start with this. So 1. So 1 card goes to the bottom and then 1 card goes on top of each pile, like that. That's brilliant. Now, if we're working backwards, the next person's going to get this pile, then this pile, then this pile. So the next person was Michael. So this is going to be Michael's pile, but as he's behind the camera, you're going to do it for him.
Okay.
Michael, what was your number?
9.
9. So pick up that pile and deal 9 cards to the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then deal 1 card on top of each pile. 1 there, 1 there, 1 there. Perfect, and put those there. Now, after that was Ryland. Ryland, what was your number?
5.
So this is Ryland's pile, so pick up this one. Put 5 cards to the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then deal 1 card on top of each pile. 1, 1, 1. You're doing amazing, Jack. And then the final pile is yours. And what was the very first number you named?
7.
7. So pick up the pile, deal 7 cards to the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1 card on top of each pile. Now I want you to think about this for a minute and seriously think about this. First of all, the cards were shuffled. Then you cut the piles yourself. I didn't do anything. You cut the piles yourself. Then each one of you named numbers, and you could all name any number that you wanted to. And we haven't changed the order of you or anything. Whatever numbers you named, you took each pile, you put that many cards to the bottom, you dealt. I didn't do anything. I haven't even touched the pack. Here's the interesting thing. Despite you guys making all of the choices, the cards that we have here are the 1, 2, 3, 4 kings right there on top of the piles. So there you go. That for me is brilliant. Now, obviously, we recognise that old routine where it's like 3 to the bottom, 1 on top, 3 to the bottom, 1 on top. What is added to this, the use of having 4 spectators and the use of having you know, a different person name each number, which obviously I couldn't do in the live performance, so I had to kind of just get around that somehow. But the use of that is just genius. It really takes it, in my opinion, to the next level, because they really can name any numbers they want to in any order that they want to, and you're set up to do that amazing finale. And it's such a strong way to produce a 4 of a kind. It really is a super mega strong way to perform a 4 of a kind. I think that there's some magicians that have maybe watched the Easy Aces and they've either skipped the bonus routine or they've looked at it and they've overlooked it. Well, I've actually performed this a few times. Since getting Easy Aces, I've performed this a few times in the real world, and it always gets a really strong reaction. There's so many different ways to produce a 4 of a kind. I've published multiple ways of producing a 4 of a kind, and this is one extra way. But it is a completely self-working way of producing a 4 of a kind, where it feels like the spectators are making all of the choices and you don't even have to touch the deck. And I really encourage you to go grab Easy Aces and look at that bonus routine. Or if you've got Easy Aces, check out the bonus routine and try it out, because it is really strong. And there's other 4 ace productions that are a lot more complicated that I've dropped in favour of this because this is getting better reaction. So, you know, that's all I can say about it. It's a very easy way to produce a 4 of a kind. It packs small. It's just a regular deck. The setup you get on the fly, it takes a couple of seconds. It plays really, really big, and it's a great lead-in to another routine, because obviously once you've got the 4 aces, you're good to go, or the 4 kings, or whatever it is that you want to produce, you're good to go into any other routine. And the nice thing is, without giving anything away, you're then set to do something else, like reset, very, very easily, because of how the setup works. So there you go. I wanted to give a shout out to Easy Aces. It's going to be on the review show soon, but it's a very good product. But the bonus routine on there, I think, is actually better than the main effect. So there you go. That's the Easy Aces bonus routine by Martin Bracas, and it is incredible. So there you go, guys. 3 more self-working tricks that you might never have seen before that I think are pretty awesome. Do me a favor, let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you want to see more videos like this, you know what you got to do. Just like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. I'm going to be back again tomorrow with a stack load more videos. And don't forget, I'm also going to be active on the Netrix. Just go to www.thenetrix.com. That's www.thenetrix.com, and you can get access to all of the material on there. There's over 200 tricks and counting. We just uploaded another 6 routines, I believe. So there's a lot going up on there, and let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'll be back again tomorrow. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Craig for Magic TV.